specifically like volume has grown around 700% since I joined Kalshi 2.5 months ago.
GM, good morning and welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show where billion-dollar ideas meet real-world receipts. I'm your host, LG Doucette. Today is November 6th, 2025. Prediction markets aren't about gambling. They're about truth. Every day, they take the chaos of politics and media and boil it down to one number, what the world really believes will happen next. And this week, without a headline, without a press briefing, the odds shifted, suddenly targeting a mid-November resolution to the government shutdown. You don't have to bet to understand what's coming. You just have to watch. Today's guest is John Wang, head of crypto at Kalshi, and we're going to discuss how they are staying competitive in a crowded landscape, what is converting users, and how much they're coming on to spend. And is it worth it for you, a smart and patient crypto investor, to get into this stuff? A reminder that Kalshi is available in 140 countries. They've raised $300 million at a $5 billion valuation. They've partnered with the NHL, Jupiter, and countless others. And last month in October, they did $4.5 billion of volume right after being featured on South Park. We're going to get into it in just a second. But first, we have a wait list for the Milk Road AI podcast, which starts next week. It's going to be twice a week, guests, deep dives, tickers, all that great stuff. So sign up for the wait list for that show right below. Click on the link. And today's episode is brought to you by Bridge. Power your business with instant stablecoin payments, no friction, no banks, just global finance made simple. Gemini Credit Card, turn your everyday spending into Bitcoin, stack sats without even thinking about it, and figure markets. Earn solid returns on your cash because sitting idle isn't a strategy. John, my man, what is going on, dude? Crazy week for you guys, especially with the New York mayor elections, one of the biggest volume markets. How are you feeling today?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Nice to see you, LG. Thanks for having me on. It's been a very hectic week with the mayoral elections. Team with war rooming, but we're very, very pumped. It's honestly like a everyday sort of thing here at Kalshi, where like feels kind of like a trading floor and a media room and like a YC startup at the same time.
I bet. Yeah. What are the current? The mayoral one was one of the highest volume markets for sure. What's currently bringing in the volume over at Kalshi these days? Outside of that, now that that's done.
Yeah. Well, sports is huge for us for volume. Our open interest for politics is actually larger than sports now, which is also cool. We have growing culture markets and crypto markets and mention markets. Those are really fun. So now you can trade reality TV shows, and obviously crypto has been a growing category as well.
Oh wow, man! I wish I could bet on reality TV shows. 20 years ago, when I watched Survivor, I would have put a lot of my allowance money down on that. But let's get into some a bit more serious stuff, a bit more serious talk about Kalshi and you guys, your place kind of in the landscape. John, you recently compared prediction markets to meme coins back in your Token 2049 presentation. Tell me about that comparison.
Yeah, look, I think meme coins and prediction markets are very different vehicles, used for very different things, but they're the same in the sense that like it is a consumer-facing product that retail loves, and it's they both have some roots in crypto. And I think I've loved to trade meme coins in the past and prediction markets as well. Meme coins are really great if you want to like trade on the virality of a specific subject, and all of the speculative energy kind of aggregates into one shilling point. And you just plow it up to infinity. But with prediction markets, it's a lot less cyclical, I'd say, and it's a lot more based on just people sort of finding out people putting their opinions up, putting skin in the game, and having markets resolve to the truth. And everyone has an opinion on everything, so it's I would say a lot more accessible than the types of games that meme coins have devolved into, which is like a bit less than what initially was bargained for. Initially, it was kind of this promise of like you can invest in the virality of something, and now it's a bit more like wallet tracking or sniping, and you've kind of just purely due to like the game theoretics of how meme coins are launched, it's very hard to prevent a lot of these things that muddy like the original game, so to speak. And so prediction markets, I think, are a lot harder to manipulate because they are always pegged to the truth ultimately at resolution. And so it's probably a much more sustainable model, in my opinion. Although I think both will be around.
I've seen a lot of people mention that, obviously insiders can be an issue on prediction markets, and I'm sure that'll evolve. But even something like you're saying, having reality shows, those are filmed in advance, right? So what's to prevent those people from going on? I'm sure we'll figure that out. But how big of a topic or how big of a concern is that right now for you guys in the team?
You mean insider trading, or?
Yeah, insider trading or anything, that type, anything like that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think Kalshi is like unique in the sense that we like have like identity verification for getting onto the platform. We do KYC, and there are rules for every market, public ones, that basically specify who cannot trade a market. So if you're like a politician or a member of like the US government, you cannot trade politics markets on Kalshi. Same applies if you're like part of the reality TV show team. And we do have surveillance to kind of make sure that people don't do that. So, I think in the vast majority of cases, this is like not an issue. And we have preventative and enforcement measures against it. And we also do take care in like listing markets that we think don't have this as much of a risk. So it's a bit of prevention and enforcement.
What does adoption look like at Kalshi? Because I'm sure there's tons of new people signing up as you guys make headlines. But like, who are those people, and how are you onboarding them and trying to stretch outside of the crypto Twitter echo chamber that I feel like we live in? But obviously, there's many more people who want to be using this outside of that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most fascinating things about prediction markets is it really extends beyond the bubble that we're in crypto Twitter. Like normal people find it fascinating as well. And the only other types of products that we've kind of been able to get mainstream adoption with in that way has been Bitcoin and stablecoins, in my opinion. And so, yeah, I think the go-to-market strategy for capturing that audience is really intuitively it makes sense. It really is just like going after distribution channels that are not just purely crypto ones. And so, maybe it's like advertising on Instagram or signing a deal with the NHL, which we did. And implementing Kalshi across different interfaces that are more like accessible to mainstream consumers. Maybe it be news networks or social media channels or browsers or search sites.
What kind of people are coming on, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is like a broad spectrum of people. I think there are people who come on to trade specific market categories, whether it be politics, sports, crypto, economics, culture. They're all coming from different walks of life. And that's why I think prediction markets are so fascinating, because the user base is very diverse. Everyone has an edge in any particular topic that they're an expert on, or they have strong convictions in. And Kalshi is kind of the public forum in which, well, it's more of a public marketplace really, in which they choose to express that opinion.
Mm-hmm. Stablecoins are the biggest use case in crypto right now, but let's be real, using them on chain is still way too complex. That's exactly the problem Bridge is solving. Recently acquired by Stripe, yep, that's Stripe, Bridge helps businesses send, store, accept, and launch stablecoins instantly. Explore the future of global financial infrastructure at milkroad.com/bridge. Did you know you can earn Bitcoin without ever buying it? That's where the Gemini Credit Card comes in. Here's how it works. Earn up to 4% back in Bitcoin on gas, transit, and rideshare, 3% on dining, 2% on groceries, and 1% on everything else. Use it just like any other credit card. And you're building a crypto portfolio at the same time. The best part, the Gemini Credit Card has no annual fee and works anywhere MasterCard is accepted. When you're approved and spend $3,000 in the first 90 days, you'll get a $200 Bitcoin bonus. Spend as usual, earn Bitcoin instead at milkroad.com/Gemini.
You guys had billboards in New York running, or you had like the digital, I guess, ad space or whatever it was, showing the odds on Kalshi for the mayoral election. You were featured on South Park. Do those types of, I guess, efforts, do those move the needle? Do you guys see a spike in signups and in traffic when those things happen?
Definitely. I think these are huge onboarding events for the company and for prediction markets in general. I think there's definitely like a steady grind of new users that come in every day. But every time there's a major event, that captures the sphere of public attention, and it's like a forcing function for people to be like, wow, okay, this is time for me to download it, check it out. And then, if they find really great value in it, a lot of them stay.
In your opinion, John, and I mean, this is something you kind of hinted at in the preamble, and I'm assuming it's one of the reasons why you signed on to work with Kalshi. I think a lot of people want to know, who are listening, are prediction markets kind of like a flash in the pan, or are they here to stay long term? Obviously, we're seeing great investment. I personally think that they're here for a long time, but I would love to hear from you where this is going. How long are these things going to stick around?
I think it's kind of inevitable now. The industry has just sowed its seeds across all these different distribution channels with all these different stakeholders, both in traditional finance and crypto, that are so like convicted in making this big and really integrated into the traditional financial system, that it really has just too much momentum to stop. So we're in a hyper-scaling phase right now, and I think the puck is definitely heading towards the regulated centralized exchange model as the foundation for global liquidity for prediction markets. If you look at the big players, Kalshi is leading the way with CME, FanDuel, Crypto.com, Polymarket themselves. They're all allocating resources towards building like a regulated centralized exchange. No one's really allocating resources towards a fully on-chain offshore exchange. And I think that does kind of indicate where things are going. And the reason why people are allocating resources in this way is because, well, each broker integration is kind of like a 10x unlock. So, for Kalshi, we have invested a ton into broker infrastructure, including like winning big deals such as Robinhood and Webull. We have a dozen more in the pipeline that are going to be released soon. And I think each of those are huge unlocks for network effects and liquidity, and really like an onshore, like a sort of like an offshore exchange is not going to be able to compete with that in liquidity. And so I think the way that prediction markets are heading, they're going to be more and more embedded into mainstream consciousness and traditional financial systems. I think they're going to be more and more embedded into large Fortune 500 companies as like front ends, and also into the crypto ecosystem. I think crypto will be able to help by a ton in terms of turning Kalshi from an app into a full-fledged developer platform and ecosystem. And it's also going to be providing like a lot of like new power users and financial primitives to the Kalshi platform. Generally, I think though that if you want to provide the best experience to crypto users, you want to have them be able to in some way access or benefit from the liquidity that gets aggregated in these regulated exchanges models.
So how is John? How is crypto part of all this? Because I think that's been one of my questions for prediction markets is why do we need crypto as a back end to prediction markets when we've been using sports books off chain, not even related to crypto for a long time, with still pretty pretty smooth results.
Yeah, well, I think like crypto is really pivotal for prediction markets in Kalshi in a few ways. One way is turning Kalshi from like an app into a developer platform is like a huge goal of mine in coming into 2026, and it really isn't possible without crypto. The crypto ecosystem has defined like the playbook for building apps on top of financial rails via like their global permissionless and programmable rails. And I think really it's like quite critical to this goal. It's not possible without crypto. Secondly, I think there's like an insane power users set of people in crypto that live and breathe cutting edge financial technology every day. And this user base is like goes hand in hand with building out those new financial primitives and front ends that may be more experimental and need power users to adopt them and give them feedback and help them grow. So those are two ways that I think that are really cool. The final way is like we went international recently, a few weeks ago, and stablecoins are key to our international growth strategy. It's the easiest way to send money into the United States or in US dollars. And it's just like the most frictionless way to grow our deposit strategy, like deposits on an international basis.
Kalshi did $4.5 billion of volume in October. What does success look like for you guys, right? Like how do you measure what is good? Yeah, you guys aiming for volume? Obviously, you like Kalshi needs to make money, but what are the pillars for success, let's say over the next 12 months for a platform like Kalshi?
Yeah, I think volume is definitely one key metric. Open interest via like liquidity is also another key metric. And both of these things, particularly like volume, has grown around 700% since I joined Kalshi 2.5 months ago. So it's been quite like a meteoric growth trajectory. And I don't see any signs of stopping really. So we're growing at a rapid rate. And all we can do is just not break.
Okay, so the measure for success is just survive the volume that's coming. Do you guys plan many other like what kind of features are coming in Kalshi? Like social features, mobile app? What are you guys doing to kind of really push the envelope and make the experience a lot smoother?
Yeah, well, our mobile app is really great. I think it's like quite smooth, and it's hovers around 7th on the App Store for the past few months. Nice. in terms of the finance category. So well into like the growth phase for direct to consumer as well. We are definitely working on improving our social features, improving even like our API is already quite robust, but we want to make it more even more like featureful in data and the types of data that you can pull. For crypto markets, we would love to roll out new crypto markets. I'm really, really excited about like the price markets on majors. So I think they're almost like a Trojan horse for crypto options. Prediction markets are kind of like making that finally accessible to people. You don't have to think about all the Greeks or like all these kind of like fancy option strategies, and you really can just like look at this prediction market and say like, I think Bitcoin's going to be over this price by this date, and you can execute that. So I think there's a high chance that these types of markets could get more and more liquid and usable, and really be seen as like a new financial instrument in crypto.
What is like a category that maybe doesn't exist yet or is very popular right now on Kalshi that you could see dominating volume in like 5 years from now?
I think what I just mentioned is something that could be dominating volume, which is like these crypto price markets. But beyond that, I really love mentions markets. I think they're really fun. And I think if you sort of project out like the growth of live streaming and live entertainment and stuff, I think there could be more and more instances of mentions markets becoming like a repeatable consumer pattern.
How do you feel about the Brian Armstrong earnings report the other day? And for those that don't know, and I mean, sorry to bring up your competitor, but Brian Armstrong, CEO and founder of Coinbase, at the end of his earnings call for Q3 the other day, wrapped it up by saying, I see that we have a mentions prediction market. So I'm just going to say the words that are in here. And then he just rattled them off. How does that make you guys feel? I don't even know if that's like insider trading. That's just someone kind of hitting the nail on the head and I guess trying to make some prediction market participants happy.
Yeah, well, I didn't think, unless Brian had a position on it himself, I didn't think that counts like insider trading.
I don't think he needs to have a position on stuff like that. I think he's doing okay, but you never know. Some people do it.
Yeah, I think that honestly, that's like I didn't follow that one too closely. That's like the extent of my knowledge on that. Yeah.
Why do people invest in real estate? Because it spits off cash flow. But I'm not here to manage rental properties. That's why I'm looking at Figure Markets. Their new democratized prime product backs your money with real cash flowing assets and returns up to 9% APY. It's the first real world asset borrow lend pool built for everyone, not just institutions. Ready to lend like a bank and get more than the 5% Aave is offering you? Download the Figure Markets app today and get 9% on your idle funds. Go to milkroad.com/Figure Markets.
How do you for somebody who is maybe looking to make their first trade, what's some advice for them to kind of sign up and to, look for something that they're comfortable with? How do you make them feel like kind of safe and make it feel easy and make it a good experience for a new user?
Yeah, well, I think one thing that we do is we give interest on all open positions and cash balances. So that's I think nice and friendly. We give them deposit bonuses sometimes if they're referred by someone, which allows them to onboard and play around with the app. I think the fact that there's like a bustling social community on Kalshi also makes it easier for people to onboard because they see a lot of other people doing actions, and you can kind of learn a bit from that. But really, yeah, we've been redesigning the app and we've been pushing new updates out that make everything a lot more intuitive to navigate.
Is there anything that users are asking for right now that you guys keep saying no to? It's a hard question, but there must be a feature or something that people are begging for that maybe for regulatory or something you guys can't do, or vice versa, John, as well. If there's something that you guys have rolled out recently due to community feedback, would love to hear about that as well.
Right. Well, yeah, I think a lot of people have been like wanting to access prediction markets on Solana, and Jupiter launched something really cool that utilizes Kalshi liquidity so that people can trade prediction markets in a very liquid way on Solana from their like non-custodial wallet. And so this is something that people have been asking for a lot, and I think it's really cool, and I hope for it to grow more.
How do you guys view competition at Kalshi? Obviously, Polymarket, you guys are neck and neck with volume and probably user adoption. I would say, Kalshi probably dominating a little bit more mind share, especially after a lot of big media events. Do you guys see them as a competitor, or is it more of a rising tide lifts all ships? You don't have to speak to that, John.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't talk about it.
I think like these types of competitive dynamics are really, honestly, really fun to be a part of. You kind of push each other. They have like a great marketing team. I think Kalshi is still, I would say, by far leading the industry in terms of fundamentals, metrics, product velocity, caliber of team. But Polymarket is great as well. I think as a crypto native, I've watched them. I've watched both companies for many years. So I'm just really excited to be a part of this journey. And I think for whatever if it makes it more exciting for people to like watch from the sidelines, that's awesome.
Dude, absolutely, man. I think we're really interested in that. I mean, it's to me, it's really the only two names, but we'll continue to watch, and I feel like you guys really push each other. One thing that you guys have done really well is bring on a lot of influencers, and I feel like, John, you've been a huge part of that. What is the appetite there to sign them on? What maybe not what those deals look like, but what does that process look like to bring them on? And has that been successful so far?
Well, I think this strategy is kind of like a way for us to show the value of Kalshi in the crypto sphere. I think previously, before I joined, Kalshi was didn't have a great footprint in the crypto community, and I think having folks who ultimately the goal really with this wasn't to just pay people to kind of, I don't know, shill Kalshi or something. That's like, obviously it's kind of like the first assumption that you'd have, but many of these people that are kind of like affiliates of Kalshi's, they're just like, they're all so rich that like you can't pay them enough money to shill like a product. And really like any like sort of quote unquote affiliate that you see mostly has had like the choice of choosing between different prediction markets as their partners, and they chose us. And so I think that's a testament to like, there's a reason why they chose Kalshi as a crypto native. There's a reason why they believe that Kalshi's going to succeed in the prediction markets industry and keep on leading. And I think that really like our strategy here is kind of like prodding people to give us a look and see what it's all about. And then if they really do believe and are excited to be a part of the journey, bringing them on to tell the story is a no-brainer for us.
What else do you have planned as head of crypto?
Yeah, I think we're going to be deepening the on-chain ecosystem strategy. I think we're going to be increasing the liquidity and usage of the crypto markets on Kalshi, improving our like payment deposit flow, like crypto deposit flows, amongst various other things. I think those are my biggest priorities.
Awesome. John, before we wrap out, are there any final sneak peeks you can give us of what is to come to Kalshi this year or in 2026? I
think having your eyes peeled for Solana and Kalshi is something that you should look out for.
Oh, tell me more, or maybe you can't tell me more. Anything else you can say about that?
I'm good.
Okay. John Wang, thank you for coming on, man. Best of luck to you and the team at Kalshi. And folks, if you want to check it out, I think it's just kalshi.com. Go place or you know what? Just go peruse. Just go look at the markets. I know a lot of you guys are curious about this kind of stuff. So if you haven't done it yet, go and check out Kalshi. John, thank you so much, man. Best of luck to you and the team. And make sure you guys tune back in here on the Milk Road Show, the Daily Crypto Show, where we have a lot of fun and we chat about a lot of these emerging primitives. We will see you guys next time.
Want insights on what's moving crypto markets and how we're trading each event? Subscribe to our channel, and join the Milk Road Daily and Pro newsletters and start investing like the top 1%. This show is for educational purposes only. Nothing we say is financial advice. Investing is risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose.